that the work is incomplete. It is incomplete because we are still prisoners of inherited boundaries. It is incomplete because we are still controlled from the metropoles. It is incomplete because, as Kwame Nkrumah used to say, it is easy to liberate ourselves politically. It is easy to liberate ourselves politically, but it's a lot more difficult to liberate ourselves culturally and mentally.
Welcome to this video. Africa is a beautiful continent, where it is full of natural resources. But beside that, we have an history which everyone must know the truth about.
So here we are, reminding ourselves that we must undergo what our own Ngugi wa Thiong'o calls decolonization of the mind. Remember, when the colonialists came, they told us that everything about us was wrong. They told our women, straighten your hair, bleach your skin, abandon your nails. They told us, and we believed them. They told us that our names were not good. So they told us that when you are a Christian, you must adopt a name which is essentially English or French. But they told us it's Christian. The impact is great and alive and well. They even told us that our languages are bad. That's why I'm addressing you in a foreign tongue. I would have addressed you in Kiswahili. They even described us as Lusophone to mean we speak Portuguese, Francophone to mean we speak French, and Anglophone to mean we speak English, so that Bambara is not good. Ovambo and Ovimbundu are not good. Gekoyo is not good. Amhara is not good. Somalia is not good. Zulu is not good. Those of you who have had the advantage of watching Alex Haley's Roots will see how Kunta Kinte is removed from the village of Jufure in the Gambia, taken to the United States of America, and the first thing that they do is that they beat your name out of you so that you are Grace, you are Genevieve, you are no longer Wanjiro or Atieno or Nekes. That is where we are. So we come here to remind ourselves that there is work to be done. In 1965, when the Osagyefo convenes a meeting in Accra, Ghana, he thought that on that day, African leaders would actually accept that we be united. But speaking on the 6th day of March 1997, on the 40th anniversary of the independence of Ghana in Accra, Ghana, Mwalimu Nyerere, who himself had liked a slow process, say, we owe Kwame Nkrumah an apology. Because now we in the leadership have become so used to being called excellencies. We've become so addicted to motorcades. We've become so addicted to being ministers that it's not easy to. Leaders would actually accept that we be united. But speaking on the 6th day of March 1997, on the 40th anniversary of the independence of Ghana in Accra, Ghana, Mwalimu Nyerere, who himself had liked a slow process, say, we owe Kwame Nkrumah an apology. Because now we in the leadership have become so used to being called excellencies. We've become so addicted to motorcades. We've become so addicted to being ministers that it's not easy to unite us. And the neo-colonial project was alive and well. 1 year later, the Osagyefo himself had been overthrown. And a little earlier, they had killed Patrice Emery Lumumba in the Democratic Republic of Congo. 2 years later, in 1963, they had killed Sylvanus Olympio in Togo. They are killing. So we are here to remind ourselves that we have an enemy that is alive and well. An enemy whose desire is that Africa remains disunited and weak so that she can be manipulated. So that occasionally, when the spirit of true revolution comes, they are eliminated. That is how they eliminated Amilcar Cabral, Abel Jassy of Guinea-Bissau. That is how they eliminated Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. That is why they want to eliminate Traore and many others. That is why they are sponsoring insurgency in Burkina, in Mali, in Chad, in Guinea, in northern Nigeria. They are alive and well. And if you ever doubted me, only listen to them, listen to them. Listen to the French president, and you know. Listen to the prime minister of the not so United Kingdom. Listen to them. So today we are gathered here to remind ourselves that if Africa is to be great, it is you, young men and women, who must make her great. This is an intergenerational warfare. You cannot afford the luxury of do-nothingism. You cannot afford the luxury of thinking that this is not your battle. You cannot afford the luxury of saying that you are too young. You are not young. You are the right age. You cannot afford the luxury of saying that you must graduate. Graduate you will. But history has the character of recognizing her bold men and women who are prepared to sacrifice for this generation and generations yet to be born. Are you such young men? If you go to South Africa, you'll meet young people who died in their prime because they wanted independence. Who among you here will forget Tirongo Potts and Solomon Mahlang? Who among you here will forget them? So we are here to remind ourselves that there is work to be done. We are here to remind ourselves that Pan-Africanism means that we who are Africans, both in the continent and in the diaspora, must now not romanticize Pan-Africanism, but must give practical meaning to it. It must be a Pan-Africanism that makes us self-sufficient in agriculture. It must be a Pan-Africanism that allows us to have peace and quiet and tranquility. It must be a Pan-Africanism that allows us to earn the dividends of the fourth and fifth industrial revolution and artificial intelligence. It must be the Pan-Africanism that does not allow our young men and women to go into latter-day slavery in the Arab world. It must not be the Pan-Africanism that allows our young men and women to be humiliated at the embassies of Western countries when our young men and women in search of greener pastures are just going to flip hamburger and work at McDonald's in Europe and America. It must be a different Pan-Africanism. The choice is yours. So let us commemorate, but let it also be a charge that from today henceforth, we are going to change the continent of Africa.